so good.
It's so good.
Hello. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Well, if you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. And what else is welcome back is to the NBA.
The NBA.
The NBA
Period.
is back. Happy NBA Day, because there's more games today. And yesterday was the best day ever because I didn't have to stress about my team. I got to watch some good games, and I said goodbye to my friends and family until June, except for Caitlin.
That's because I am a part of this with her. Like,
yes.
We're in it together.
Otherwise, it'd be sayonara. I let them know that they will hear from me in June.
Yeah. See, here's the thing is Spencer's coming to my house for like 5 days in a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, I think. And when I tell you that all 5 evenings will literally be spent watching every basketball game, and then like the Sunday that she's here will be football, and then the Thursday will be football. Like it's nonstop.
I'm so excited. And Caitlin will also be here, not this upcoming weekend, but next weekend. So we will probably be at a Nuggets game, probably, almost definitely. And it's going to be so fun. If you're in the Denver area and you want to hang out with us, I'm sure one of the nights we will be watching a game or two at the DNVR bar. So also if you're in Denver and you haven't been there, this gal, because I live in Denver permanently, is always there during basketball season. And it is so, so much fun, especially if you're a Nuggets fan. And even if you're not, I don't care.
It's still
Just come.
fun.
It's fun to hang out. It's fun to get out of the house and watch games. It's fun to be in an atmosphere where everyone's watching the same game. That is my favorite part of being friends with people that love the NBA, because everybody is coming together as one and watching the people, the millionaires play, and the sweaty millionaires
With the
throw
ball.
in the hoop. Yeah.
And we're all
love
yelling together.
It's so fun. They have no idea who I am and they don't care. It's so good.
Yes. It's just, it's a good time. They get paid for my entertainment. And honestly, I am entertained. So
I am entertained, and I was entertained last night because what a mother effing
girl.
NBA opening night, Caitlin. It was a lot.
I was so hoping that they would be like really big competitive games, but I think what we got out of it was even better than that, because I think we learned a lot.
I was just going to finish your sentence and say, I think we learned a lot. We did learn a lot. And you know what? One of the things we first learned is that no one is hungover on the Boston Celtics.
I told you, man.
No one. Caitlin was right.
Yeah. I just I said that they took some championship electrolytes. No championship hangover for them.
No.
They had some liquid IV in their veins. No hangover.
I don't know what they did. I don't know what happened. I think part of it was you have Jayson Tatum coming off of feeling like he's been done dirty. You have Jaylen Brown coming off of come off feeling like he was done dirty. Sure, words. And I think that was part of it. And I think there was another thing. It's also kind of like the Nuggets, where I think they were like, well, they had the easiest run ever. So I think that was another thing. They're like, no. We're
just
here.
good.
We're dominant. We're going to beat your ass left, right, up, down, all across the floor. And speaking of like how dominant they were, Caitlin and I have talked about how they pretty much signed everyone back. They don't really have any new pieces. And boy, did the difference show in what a newer team looks like and a team that is not new looks like, because it was so obvious.
Well, yeah. And you know what? If you haven't noticed, we're jumping right in. Celtics, Knicks. Okay. Yeah. Celtics dominated the Knicks. But like Spencer was saying, the Celtics looked like they have this team chemistry already established. Like they know how to play basketball together.
Like literally, like they all had some connection going. And that was one of the first things I think I noticed with the Knicks. There was not a ton of off-ball movement. It looked really clunky. Like people
like they were
just
trying to figure out how to play with each other almost.
Yes, they were just waiting. Yeah. And I did wonder if that's how these first games were going to go, because when you have a trade that happens literally like the day before media day or like 2 days before media day, you haven't been playing together. And Kat, of course, was with Minnesota for so long. And, you know, even though Mikal Bridges played with them in Villanova, he hasn't played with them recently. And so you're taking two people that don't know how you play, and they, you know, don't know your reads, and you don't have that connection yet. It's the same like when we talk about NFL. They're like when you have a new receiver, they're building their QB receiver connection. Same way when you're trying to facilitate, you have to kind of know, and that's why we love Nikola Jokic, right? It seems like he has like a Bluetooth where he like always knows where someone's going to be, and that was
has that connection.
That was like the first thing I think I noticed was it just looked awkward.
Yes, I know. And that's like, so that's exactly what I said too. And like, I also, on like the Mikal Bridges talk.
Mikal Bridges.
On the Mikal Bridges talk too. You know, I think he is almost at like a tiny bit of a disadvantage coming from the Suns to the Nets to the Knicks. The Knicks, I feel like, play a totally different brand of basketball than the Suns and the Nets. They have obviously a totally different team, but like Thibs, totally different coach. And so I think that it's going to be a lot more of an adjustment for him. And also, I don't know if you knew this too, I just learned this yesterday, but Mikal Bridges in the offseason totally changed his shot.
Yeah, and it's, I think, the ugliest thing I think I've ever seen. It's rivaling for me the Tyrese Halliburton, and his is like,
I love that. Yeah,
I almost think
understand.
that his Why are we switching? How many years has he been in the NBA now?
6,
like 6,
something like that. 4, 5, 6.
It's got to be like 6, and you're changing your shot.
Yeah, and you know, before the NBA. College, high school, like you have a lifetime of a shot that you have created, and
that is your go-to.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
Why did we know why he did that?
I have no idea. I'd have to look it up. But who's the guy that shoots free throws one-handed now? Who is that?
Do you remember when they didn't they say that like the granny shot is like the safest free throw shot or something?
Yeah.
Didn't they say that, or am I making that up?
That's literally a thing.
Because I think there was an NBA player that I have to look that up now. I think there was an NBA player who shot granny style, and he like had the highest free throw percentage.
I love that
player who shot.
Okay, I remember who it is now. I mean, obviously I just saw it, but it makes sense.
Rick Barry,
I love that.
Yes, because his youngest son is doing it. His youngest son, Canyon Barry. But he shot his free throws.
Canyon Barry, what a name.
In his 14 seasons as an NBA player, Rick Barry shot 89% from the free throw line underhanded. Slay.
That's actually pretty incredible. No,
pretty damn cool.
So yes. So the person that I was talking about, well, yeah, I was gonna say the person I was talking about with the one-handed free throws was Jeremy Sohan. I never know. Someone tell me, okay? Someone literally give me some like phonics, split out the word for me. I love you for this.
Sokin. Jeremy Sokin.
Really?
Sokin.
That would have been my last choice. Either way.
Okay. Anyway.
But I think he had like had an injury or something, and so he was practicing free throws with his one hand, and he realized that he was actually really good at them, and so he legitimately shoots free throws with one hand now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like he does it like for funsies all the time in every game. But
I love that for
either
him.
way, I know, me too. I just that was just an example of people who have changed their shot over time. I hated his shot, and he bricked everything. So I don't know if like it needs time
in the second half, like got something, but he was in the preseason, 1 for 16, 2 for 16, something like that. And then it looked so ugly to start out. It was
I can't even pull it
rough.
up.
And then I think he ended up with 16 points, mayhaps.
He did, yeah. He ended up shooting 53% overall. So the second half was way better. But
it wasn't like he would make it and then brick and then make it brick 50%. It was like brick the whole entire first half and then
just drained everything the second half. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Is I wonder if he like just needs to I don't know, get in a rhythm, or I wonder if he didn't start shooting his normal free throw in the second half, or his normal shot in the second half, right?
I didn't pay enough.
I didn't pay that close attention or anything like that.
I don't think so.
I just wonder. Okay, so then I hope it ends up working out for him. I'm someone that like I really want to see Mikal Bridges succeed. Do you see my hand? My kids gave me tattoos last night.
Cute.
Do you see the heart?
Zoe calls them, the little girl I know, calls them tantus. Tantus. She tells me I wear too many tantus.
I love her so much.
Sorry. I'll take them off tomorrow.
You should. No, I can scrub mine off, but I didn't scrub hard enough. It hurts when I scrub my bad arm.
I like it Picasso.
I like a Picasso. That's exactly what I said when they actually drew them on me. So
okay, we're losing the plot here.
Draw on me. Okay, sorry. Anyway,
I was like,
sorry
I don't
about
even
my
remember.
tattoos.
I was like, where did we even begin? You want Mikal Bridges to succeed.
I do. I want Mikal Bridges to succeed. I feel like he deserves that. I feel like he's had like a really weird run with like the Suns and the Nets.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to see him do well. I still want to see the Villanova Knicks succeed. But they looked awful. And also, really weird thought about the Knicks too. This is just random, but Cat looks normal in Knicks gear. Like he looks like he belongs in Knicks gear.
He looks normal really in a Knicks uniform, but he did not look normal on the
team.
And one of the things,
just in the uniform.
One of the things I literally posted yesterday was I literally forgot, and this is part of the tweet. I literally forgot I get to see how Cat does defensively without a big rim protector next to him because he doesn't have Rudy Gobert. He's supposed to be the Rudy Gobert. I have like so much to talk about with the Celtics offense and defense because I rewatched the game this morning and like have some really amazing things to talk about. But I feel like we have to also mention, obviously, the story of the game, JT for 3 and everybody else. You get a 3, you get a 3, you get a 3. The starters,
29.
The starters on the Celtics had Tatum had 8 triples. Derek White had 6 triples. Holiday had 4 triples. Horford had 3 and Jaylen Brown had 5. The Celtics shot 61 and made 29 of them to tie the record for the most threes made in a game, and then bricked 13 straight in the last like 3 minutes trying to break the record, which was kind of hilarious.
I loved it because like obviously if you watched the game, it was such a beatdown. Okay, like this game
before the 13 straight bricks, they were shooting 60.3 or 60.1% from the 3-point line.
Absolutely insane. Yes, they were draining it, and like this game was just such a beatdown. And so like I feel like in those types of games you get like kind of bored, like you don't want to sit there and you're just like, cool, we know you're going to win by 40, but
that's my one qualm with the Celtics. I mean, it's not their offense style because I have some great things to say. But I texted Caitlin in the middle and I was like, listen, when the 3 bursts get going, it's like really fun for a little bit. But then I'm like, okay, like can we take it to the rim, please? Please
do something else.
Can we, I don't know, like pass a few times and get like a floater or like a nice midi, a good dunk.
Anything.
Yeah, but it was raining threes for sure.
Yes, it was. And I thought it was so funny because like I said, like once they hit that 29, I became invested because I was like, okay, they tied the record. Now I need to see them break it. I love records. There's nothing cooler for me than like when records get broken. And so I was so excited. And like every time a 3 got chucked up, I was like the Celtics fans. I was like, and then I would be like, Yep. And then, okay. And then it hit 10 threes in a row that they had missed. And so I was like, oh, I wonder what the record is for missed threes in a row.
I think it was so hilarious because they were like, and this one's to break the record, air ball. And this one's to break the record, air ball.
Air
and
ball,
this one. And then it was just like clunk, clunk, brick, 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 brick.
Oh. The Rockets missed 27 in a row in 2018.
Oh.
27. So 13 was a little off, but either way, I was still so excited about it, okay? Like, I was just like...
It was wild.
I was just invested in some record being broken. I was like, if we're not going to break the threes made, we've got to break threes missed.
Who's
this
we?
is incredible.
Who's we?
Who's we?
You mean the Celtics?
Yes, but I just meant all of us invested in this. We were all there.
I'm just saying, you can't add another team, Caitlin. I won't have it.
I love all of my Celtics friends. Okay. I love you all so much.
I do too. This episode is honestly for all my Celtics friends because I'm about to gas y'all the hell up after I talk about. I just have to mention Jayson Tatum pulled a Jamal Murray, and if you are a Nuggets fan, and if you're new to the channel, I am a Nuggets fan, so you are going to hear a lot of Nuggets analogies because I study that team the most, okay? So if you are a Nuggets fan or know anything about the Nuggets or Jamal Murray, you know that the easiest way to get him to drop 40 on you or have a monster game is to underestimate, talk shit, make him feel like you doubt him. Jayson Tatum, after getting benched in the Olympics, had 37 points, 4 rebounds, and 10 assists with 8 triples made.
Shooting 71%, by the way. Like, not only was it incredible, but it was efficient.
He was 14
so impressive.
Of 18. He only missed 4 shots that he took. Yeah. That was insane.
So impressive.
It actually did make me happy because, okay, the one thing I hate about Jayson Tatum is like his little corny little phrases he says, okay? But after watching, I said this on the last thing, after watching Starting Five, he and his kid were really, really cute together. So I was really excited for him. The Celtics were great. I was doing my research and writing down my notes after rewatching the game today. The Celtics offense is so much more insane than I feel like even like comes across when you're watching it. So basically how they work out their offense is they figure out the opposite team, in this case the Knicks, their weakest defenders, and get them on to Tatum or Brown, with a screen or whatnot, and then let them go to work on them. So I'm going to have, because I found like a little like almost GIF of this player, like a mini video, but in the very first possession of the game, okay? And again, this was one of my questions going in. How is Towns going to do defensively? He's not a rim protecting big. That's never been his job. And that's what they lost with Hartenstein, and that's what they needed. They did not have that. We'll talk about that. But so the very first possession of the game, Towns was guarding Al Horford. Horford then set a ball screen for Tatum, forcing Towns then into drop coverage because he's assuming Tatum is just going to drive past him. So he's much further back. I'll have the clip down here. And then obviously with plenty of space, Tatum drains the 3, obviously. Yep. So easy. Then obviously Tatum and the rest of the team, they're raining triples. So now Cat is forced to play higher in the pick and roll, which again is still opening up great shots for Boston. On like my third little example, and I have a clip of this one too. I have 2. So first I have to just say, Mcbride has really poor screen navigation. Like he literally looks like Bambi out there.
He does look really confused, like at all times, deer in the headlights, just like
the way he moves is awkward. So midway through the third quarter, Horford sets another screen for Tatum. Towns is up high. Mcbride is over there, and now he's trying to get over the screen to get back to his man. So now Tatum has 2 defenders. He has Cat and Mcbride. Tatum, and then you have Derek White cutting across, and he gets an open 3-pointer. And with that, I don't think that was the example Tatum was talking about. But after the game, he said, we work on reads every single day in practice. And that this is a direct quote. And that's essentially all we do. We got plays and things, but we just make reads. We know where to be. We know when to cut. We know when to space the floor. And we know when to make the extra pass. And that to me was like the statement of the game. The cuts that they were making, it was like just all flowing so well. It was like one brain in 5 bodies. Like they knew where to go, where their man was going to be. They knew how to draw someone off the other person. The Knicks did not. It was night and day. And so when you're moving on to the other side, because you'd think, okay, well, why can't the opposite team just do that same thing against the Celtics? Well, the Celtics obviously, the Celtics have much better defenders. So the Celtics' one weakness, I think, is Al Horford in the pick and roll. But I mean, I can't say anything because like Jokic has gotten better in the pick and roll, but he's not the best in the pick and roll. And so he got burned off the dribble like a couple times last night. But the Celtics limited that issue by doing mismatches. So they put Jrue Holiday onto Towns. And so that allowed them to switch the like Brunson Towns pick and roll and keep a good defender in front of Brunson with the mismatch of Jrue Holiday on Towns, who's much taller. So obviously Towns got like a few shots over Holiday. He's much taller and he can shoot over him. Like
foot. Yeah.
He can shoot over him, and he did in like the late in the second quarter. But the matchup didn't give nearly as many good possessions on as the Celtics got against Towns on the other end of the floor. So they pretty much realized that Cat is not going to go against you. That's why I know this is mean, but people call him soft. But they know that he's not going to drive into you, bully you as much.
He's not an aggressive kind of big, like which is really weird. Like he's like the kind of big that like you almost like want to keep on the corner because like you do have like he's a good perimeter defender and he does have a good 3-point shot for a big and everything like that. But like he's just like he's not quick enough and he's just not aggressive enough. He's not the guy that's going to
back. No, he's not going to back you up like down until he gets his way. Like he's
not going to post you up. No, he doesn't like to post up unless he has like the easiest match. He will if he has someone that he like has to try hard against. Like it's not his thing.
Which is crazy because he's a 7 foot tall big, but he's a perimeter oriented big, which goes on to my like other problem, which was the Knicks' biggest strength over the last 2 years was their rebounding. And that also told the story in this game. I like sometimes stats tell a story and sometimes they don't. So in some ways, if you look at just the field goal percentage, the Knicks actually outshot the Celtics, not by much, by like 1%, but they had, of course, marginally less threes. But so two seasons ago, 2 seasons ago, the Knicks ranked second in both offensive rebounding and total rebounding. And then last season, they led the league in both. But none of the 3 guys who led the team in offensive rebounding last season were available on Tuesday. Obviously, Isaiah Hartenstein, he's with OKC. Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achiuwa were both out with injuries. So everyone knows like Cat's never been a big offensive rebounder. Over the last 2 seasons, I found this out, he's only grabbed 5% of available offensive rebounds.
Cat.
Caitlin and I have said this before on an NBA episode. The biggest thing to piss me off is to not rebound because it's like you just have to reach, you're 7 feet tall. Just hold up your hands.
Grab the ball.
Grab the ball.
And like,
that is the
we
easiest
talk about
way
this
to
all the
impact
time
the game.
too. Yeah, and all I say too, like, you know, on that same, you know, topic is like all you have to do is literally just crash the boards. You see a shot go up and like unless you're looking at Steph Curry and Steph Curry's already turned around and at the other side of the court, you should know to just grab a rebound. Like it's okay to crash the boards and be with everyone else. Like that's why
always want to crash the boards.
But yes, and that's why you have tiny guys like Brandon Pajemski and Russell Westbrook who are tiny, skinny, shorter dudes in the grand scheme of things. And they were the 2 leading guards in rebounds last year for that reason, because they were willing to do it. If you're willing to do it and you're a 7-footer, you're going to grab 20 rebounds a game. You have to be willing to do it. You have to be willing to put in the work. And if you're not doing that, then you're just lazy.
It's about being aggressive, I think, in every single aspect, in points, rebounds, getting the ball to other people. So that last thing I had on like their matchup thing. So of course they were banking on knowing, you know, that even though it was a mismatch with Towns and Drew Holiday, that he wasn't going to take advantage of that, which allowed Al Horford to defend Josh Hart. And Josh Hart is a little reluctant as a shooter. So Horford can give him like a large cushion and like help his, you know, he was able to help his teammates like when needed again, because it's like, again, I'm so sorry to talk about the Nuggets, but we have CB in the lineup. He's going to be the first person that the defenders are going to leave to go double someone else. It's daring you to shoot. They were daring Josh Hart to shoot. They, of course, were not going to shoot from the perimeter half as much. They had, I don't know if I already said, they had like 61, I think, 3-point attempts. Insanity.
The Celtics did,
Talking about the rebounds, like that was a big thing to me. Shout out, though, the one Knicks player that I have to shout out is Miles McBride.
Oh, he had a game, man.
I was like,
how is he like the guy that I'm like, okay, Knicks, like go Miles. Like I was so hyped for him.
And I didn't even realize, so he was drafted in 2021 by OKC. He was the 36th overall pick and then was traded to the Knicks. He's played, and I guess this just shows I, of course, watch way more Western Conference than I watch East.
Yeah.
I mean, I still watch pretty much all basketball, but he's played in 104 games over his 2 seasons with the Knicks.
I've always said that he's like, he's the kind of guy that I've always kind of thought of as like the guy that like, if nothing is going right, you can put him in and you can, he's one of those like really consistent bench players that you can kind of always
stick in. Well,
over the last couple of years. Yeah, he really is great. I loved seeing that success for him because, again, 104 games over, 282 game seasons. Like that's a little bit more than half the games, which is still awesome. But it's really cool that you can kind of see him like he's making strides, and I would love to see him have a good season, especially on like a hopefully good Knicks team. I don't even know. Like, I don't know what to think.
I think they'll be, I don't think it's doomsday over there. Okay.
No,
like,
me neither.
I just think the Celtics have been around. It just shows like, oh, here's the difference between a team that's been together and here's the difference between a team who has new players. Like, I'm not here to rain on the Knicks parade. I still think they're going to be amazing once they figure it out. They have a lot of shit to clean up.
Yes, I was going to say, you know how we were talking about like giving rookie quarterbacks at least 3 games?
Yeah.
I was saying that we've got to give like this Knicks
3 weeks
team
almost, maybe.
And
right?
I was going to say at least like 15 games, like a fifth of the season, because that's kind of like, the comparable for NFL, but
they have to get other rebounders because
they just have to rebound. They just have to do it.
That's what I'm saying. Like other people have to step up because Cat had 7 rebounds.
Which is low for him. Which is low for him, by the way.
His numbers have been getting low-ish. He had, I believe, the most rebounds around the team. Everyone else, like McBride, had 22.0 rebounds. Brunson had 22.1 rebound. Brunson is like 6 foot, so like fair.
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges had 0 rebounds. Like the thing that, in my opinion, the Knicks need to do, which again you're gonna learn by learning each other. They also had terrible assist numbers. The highest number of assists on the team was from Cam Payne with 4, and I think everyone else had like 3 or 2 or 1.
Which I don't like hearing either because Jalen Brunson is normally a really great kind of like point guard and facilitator too. I really liked that about him last year. I was going to say, and maybe because I feel like DiVincenzo was such a perfect counterpart for Jalen Brunson last year, that maybe he's kind of missing that perfect counterpart and doesn't really know. Like you said, I feel like the really big difference maker here was just chemistry. And like understanding how your team plays because
the Celtics are clearly a well-oiled machine right now.
Yes, the way that I view the Celtics in game 1 and even like just in preseason or whatever, just in general, the way that I view the Celtics team is very much so like the 2022 Warriors or like the 2019 Warriors. And I think that's where like the 3-point shot comes into play again too. But at the same time, like you were saying, like with their offense, they just understand each other. And I think that is the most like beautiful way to play basketball when you have guys that like just have this basketball chemistry together and can play on the court and just understand each other. Like, okay,
where they're going to be,
exactly. Like, I see this guy getting screened for right here. I'm going to cut here. He's going to drop, and then 2 defenders are going to get on me when I cut, and then I'm going to pass it. Understanding
they were all playing so well
how they play.
Ball.
Yes, exactly. Like making those off-ball movements, and that was a really big thing for those 2022 Warriors. Like their offense, this game was literally identical to the 2022 Warriors. 3 points and everything. Like their 3 points, their pick and roll, their screens. I do just want to say, Al Horford, you are a way cleaner screener than Draymond Green. I know people are gonna shit on me like for comparing the 2022 Warriors to the Celtics team, because Draymond did have illegal screens up the a-hole for a few years. But Al Horford is a very clean screener. It's actually a really weird, underrated feature about him that I love about him, is that he, man's feet are set. There's no hip shifting, illegal screen who, moving screen who, not him, not Al Horford. He's very clean with his screens most of the time, and I love that. But like you said, I love their movement. I love the way that they play. They're such a smart team right now, and I hate that I say this. I really enjoyed watching them. I did enjoy watching their offense.
Yeah,
and their defense. They were just so smart, so good.
Yeah. Knicks had 20 assists and Celtics had 33, and then they were out rebounded offensively 11-5, and then the Celtics had 19 points off turnovers to Knicks 2. Oh, and the Knicks had 11 turnovers and the Celtics only had 3. The Celtics played a very clean game last night. I hope all of our Celtics friends are so happy that we talked so highly of your Celtics. You're welcome.
Yes, and me personally, waiting for the JT revenge tour. I think he's going to go off this season. I think where you and I were talking about the whole Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
I take back what I said. Everyone was saying, I just repeated it, but I'm sorry, Jayson, because he clearly saw it when the one person said they didn't know if Jayson Tatum was him. Don't yell at me.
I'm so dead.
And please
literally.
Don't do that against the Nuggets. Please do not drop 37 against the Nuggets. I am so sorry.
I actually don't want that. Thank you.
I never said that. I will delete the video. I won't, because I got a lot of views. But so sorry, bestie.
No,
Love you and Deuce.
Okay, wait. Listen to this too, because I thought that this was another thing that's going to piss him off even more, piss Jayson Tatum off even more. So Giannis has this criteria for the current best player in the league. The current best player in the league is going to be the best player on the team that won the championship the year prior. So in 2023, or at the beginning of the 22-23 season, he said it was Steph Curry, because Steph Curry had just won the championship, just won Finals MVP.
This
he was
is
the best player on
Giannis's
the best
choice
team.
or something?
Yes. Oh. Okay. And so Giannis came out yesterday. They were asking him, who do you think is the current best player in the world or best player in the NBA? And he said, my criteria is that it's the best player on the championship team, the person that goes and wins it all, and then is the best player on that team. And he said, so it would be Jaylen Brown. And so I was just like, that's going to piss Jayson Tatum off and Celtics fans. Like I said, first of all, I just don't think that Jaylen Brown is the best player in the NBA. I think he's a fantastic player. I love him. I'm very high on him. But I just thought that was such a weird choice. And to not pick Jayson Tatum, again, was almost like a mini shot to Jayson Tatum.
I don't know. I mean, Jaylen Brown did get the Finals MVP, and I will say
and he played amazing. He was so consistent. He played great. I'm not knocking that at all.
I do think Jaylen Brown sometimes is a bit more consistent with Jayson Tatum. I do feel like Jayson Tatum will have these monster games.
He has big games, yeah.
And then he won't. It's not a consistent oh yeah, he's going to get you 25 points every single game. So
yeah. I just thought that was funny, because I'm like, you guys are just making Jayson Tatum is about to go on the revenge tour. And I'm kind of excited to see it.
He's writing all these names down. He's
no, for sure. And
in his calendar, he has the Bucks game circled, he's got a Giannis voodoo doll with a sticking pins, or during a game, when he's shooting his free throws, he's hitting him.
He's got like a shrine of all the shit talk that people have had of him over like the last 6 months, and he just like lights all these candles.
He's so that person. He's so that player that like that cuts out every quote that like I don't know what this was. He cuts out every single quote on a piece of paper and like glues it on a board and is like, "This is my inspiration wall."
Oh yeah. Yep,
I'm sorry. Jayson Tatum was corny, and it's okay because he was monster yesterday.
He's fantastic. Yep.
He's great.
Literally, you can be as corny as you want if you play basketball
Dads
like
are corny.
that.
It's fine.
Touche. I'm a mom. I'm the corniest MFer in the world.
Moving on to corny dads and sons, I guess. Wolves
LeBron
versus Lakers.
James. Oh my God. Which part should we start? Should we start on the history breaking moment just so that we can move past that and then get into the game?
Sure. Just like they did. I think they were like, okay, we have to. They were like, we have to do this. Here's what I will say. I'm going to remove a little bit of my animosity from the last video. And like bias because I don't really love LeBron, but I have to acknowledge that he is, of course, one of the greatest players of all time. He has put his blood, sweat, and tears for 22 seasons into this game, and it was in a very cool, special moment. The only reason I didn't think it was as cool, and I said this online, was that like his son didn't earn the spot, so it like kind of felt a little like gimmicky.
Felt forced.
Yeah. Well, it just felt a little gimmicky. It's like, okay, the Harlem Globetrotters, now the dad and son are on the court. So I just didn't love it because it like felt like something that should be done in like an exhibition, like celebrity game situation. And I know that was his goal, was to play in the NBA with his son. But like everyone has said, like, he's not an NBA player. He obviously knows that. I mean, and again, I feel bad for Bronny. Who even knows if he wanted any of this? Like, I don't think he had a choice. So I do feel very bad for Bronny. That was the only part. It was a very cool moment in history. I'm sure it probably might not ever happen again or for a very long time. It soured it a little bit for me that it was like, oh, you got them to like literally draft his son. Like, and I bet if his son was named something else and had the same like situation, I don't think he would have been drafted. So that is all I have to say, but I do feel bad for Bronny. I'm sorry for being a little harsh last game because, again, like I don't think he really has much to do with this.
Yeah, I think like for me, well, because like first of all, we were obviously all kind of like waiting for that moment. You know, a lot of people were wondering if Bronny would go in, and I'm like, of course he is. Like that's, and you know, like I get it. Like you want to make it happen. You want to make it a big moment. You want to make it cool. And I thought it was so funny. And I don't know if like someone that we know shared it or even if it was you, but AD after the game was saying that they finally had a big Bronny or a big LeBron moment where they won the game. I did share this. Yeah, I was going to say, because the Nuggets weren't there to spoil it for you.
They like literally purposely cannot schedule them against the Nuggets
ever again.
They had, going off of that, during the game, they said that was the Lakers' first win on opening night, and they had a 6-game losing streak on opening night.
Oh my God. Yeah. So it just like, well, thank goodness. I don't know. Like I'll go back to like, for me, like the moment, like putting Bronny and Bron in. I'm a very emotional person. Yeah. And I think like the idea of it really is incredible. Like not even because I agree. I don't think that at least at this very point that Bronny is like an NBA player or something that like at the very, very, very most, he is probably your deep bench, your guy that you put in when everyone else is hurt and you have no one else, or like a two-way player. I could see that even, but like he did, obviously, he got drafted to the Lakers. I'm really happy for them. And then when they came out, I literally was like, I had like tears streaming down my face watching it because I was like, this is just so cute. And I just like think about it like from like a parent perspective. Like that's why it was emotional for me because I'm like,
it was so
I could not imagine. I'm like, first of all, the fact that LeBron is 40 in a couple of months and has been in the NBA long enough for his son to be old enough to be in the NBA. Like that's an incredible feat for him, for LeBron. Bronny played for 2 minutes, got 1 rebound. Good for him. I saw someone say this and I totally agree. They were saying that now that Bronny and Braun have had their big moment, broken history, let's let this kid develop in the G League and like give him some reps and give him some time. And I kind of agree with that. I'm like, I know they gave him like a fat contract. I don't know if you can relegate someone to the G League after they get that contract, but I'm like, that would be.
I think you can send anyone to the G League. I think.
Okay, cool, great. I feel like you can too.
I could be wrong.
No, I feel like you're right because even like Steph and Clay have played in G League games when coming back from injuries and stuff like that. So I think that could definitely be a thing.
Players with 3 years of service or less can be sent or assigned to the NBA G League an unlimited amount of times.
Cool. Yeah.
So the thing, again, it was like a super cute moment and everyone was freaking out. And I think that's why I was like, okay, but this is like a professional NBA game. Like this is like a real game. Like this isn't like a movie. So like, I think that's why. I hope I don't just sound bitter. I just like thought that I was like that. This wouldn't have been happening if it was anyone else.
It was someone else. Of course. No,
but a lot of people were saying like, you have to think he's put his blood, sweat, and tears out. So like he's earned this. But I'm like, so you're just because he's like a great player, he just gets to like change the rules? Like that also doesn't seem right. I don't know. But anyway, moving on. I don't want to talk about it.
I was going to say, I'm totally with you there. So, but the cool part about this game was that the Lakers proved me wrong. This is just game one.
The Wolves made me happy.
Period. Me too. And that's the thing is like, it's just game one. I get it. Like you can have like a shitty first game or a fantastic first game and then like not be that team later on. But oh my Lord, the Lakers came out and they played. I think I told Spencer they played with an exclamation point. Everything they did with purpose.
She said with a purpose. She said they played with a purpose and exclamation point. And I was like, ooh, I like that one.
Yes, because they did like everything they did. Like they finished it and they finished it well.
They were finished everywhere.
It hard, and yes, they just like. I just feel like that was like the best way to describe it because like that's how they were playing. Every dunk was like a hard dunk. Every shot was like a drained shot. And then they were all back on the other end of the floor. Like they were there to play and show up. And that's exactly what they did. They looked like scary.
I literally have the Lakers looked dominant, aggressive, and everything in between that. They were everywhere. And the Wolves, on the other end, did not look like the same team in any way, shape, or form. They looked tired. Anthony Edwards looked confused. Tired.
Yes.
It was, and so I was saying earlier how sometimes the stats tell the story. And while it did on the turnovers, because the Wolves had 15 turnovers to the Lakers 7, but the Wolves made 13 triples to the Lakers 5, and they still lost. The Lakers had 72 points in the paint, while the Wolves had 40.
They dominated the paint. And I think a lot of that, obviously like a lot of that was due to like AD having the game that he did, but even like LeBron was in there throwing down dunks.
I asked like, if AD got bit by a spider, like a radioactive spider over the summer.
Into Spider-Man.
And then I was I actually want to ask you this. Yeah, because that game was incredible. And he looked like he was just putting 100% into that game. Do you think that he's just been like lazy in other circumstances? Because it looked like he could just do that every night.
Yes and no.
But he looked like full effort, and I loved it. He was doing it all.
I think, like I said, I think maybe a little bit of yes and no. I think that the last few seasons, and we talked about this when we talked in our NBA and even NFL episode too, but I feel like in the last few seasons, he's had kind of just like a bad attitude about the team and the coach and circumstances. And he just like, there were so many days where we saw him pouting on the bench and pouting after games and blah, blah, blah. And so I wonder, because they also, for the most part, have a pretty unchanged team. I mean, they have a couple of new rookies and everything like that, but they still have Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura. They have Austin Reeves, D'Lo, etc. Like they came back. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I just had something funny to say on your thing. So they said on the broadcast, they were laughing at how the Lakers like didn't really change anything, and they like were in the play-in for and lost like you know, the first round 2 years in a row. And they weren't in the they didn't lose in the first round 2 years in a row because we beat them in the Western Conference Finals. Anyway, they lost 2 years in a row. This past year in the first round, didn't make any changes, and then the Wolves make it to the Western Conference Finals and are like, get rid of our second best player.
We're actually going to make lots of changes and
we're rebuilding.
It.
We're rebuilding. Yeah. So sorry for interrupting you, but they were talking about it.
Finals.
Yeah. And so that was funny to me.
Well, it's funny. So that's why I was saying is that the Lakers proved me wrong, at least in this game one, because I said the same thing. I was like a lot of the teams in the West were making changes to get better. Like the Warriors, like, I think they were really bad last year. Obviously, they were the 10 seed and they lost in the play-in. Like, they were bad. But, like, I feel like they made the changes that they needed, and so they at least worked on getting better. The Rockets, I feel like, developed. You know, the Spurs drafted a guy, got Chris Paul, got a really good point guard for Wemby. Like, you have even, like, the worst teams working on getting better. And you have, you know, things like that happening. You have some of the better teams working on getting better, getting the pieces that they need. And then you have the Wolves who are trading away their second best player. And then you have like the Lakers who didn't really do anything except for draft a couple of people. And so I was like, the Lakers, like, what are they doing? Everyone else is getting better and you did nothing. But like, I feel like maybe they kind of pulled like a Celtics and were like, just going to work on team chemistry. Because it looked like they had that team chemistry. Like, I feel like on like the same vein of like the Celtics, like we were talking about, like they all looked good together. I'm such a D'Lo hater. Sorry to everyone that likes D'Lo. I hate his attitude. I literally have
written down, I'm so glad that D'Lo still looks like ass.
Yes. I was going to say I'm such a D'Lo hater. So I'm like, I'm so sorry. But like, I would say that he was like really, like, I'm looking at the stats just like as we speak. He was really like the only one on their team besides like Austin Reeves that I feel like just like did not perform. And Austin Reeves did fine too, but he also like, he didn't like live up to, I don't know, like the hype of who he should have been. But like Rui Hachimura, what a great game.
Someone's knocking on my door. I'm scared. I got makeup delivered.
So
sorry.
funny.
You were talking about how we hate D'Lo and Rui Hachimura and things. Sorry. Continue.
Yes, no, you're fine.
I heard knocking. I was like,
oh, I would have like panicked. I would have been like, I'm actually out of here. See you later. All right, hold on. Let me pull this back up. I'm moving out. Yeah, I'm actually leaving. But so like, I feel like besides Austin Reeves and D'Lo, like for the most part, like everyone just like was there to play and they played well. Like Anthony Davis, like I've said, he was a disgusting monster. Like this man was all over the place on both sides of the floor. 36 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks on 47.8% field goal percentage. And I'm just like, okay.
You could not escape him. You could not escape him.
He was terrifying.
It's like in those movies where they like poke your shoulder and you turn around and they're like right behind you.
Yeah.
After
and they
they
just
were
like
right
never
there.
leave. Yeah, exactly.
He was insane. And I guess JJ Redick said one of the things is like that he was emphasizing was crashing the boards. And I think that the Wolves like barely won the rebound battle like in the end. In the first half, they were all over those boards. Like it was insane. Everyone was rebounding. The Lakers had 15 offensive rebounds, which most of them came in the first half. And that allowed LA to like get all those early second chance points, which I think they had like a 20-point lead at one point. And then of course the Wolves kind of like slowly dug themselves like out of the hole that they started with after getting 15 turnovers.
Yeah.
But it just looked like the only person who could score was Anthony Edwards. And it like, I think like you could tell he was like, didn't know what was happening. And it was insane because I guess one thing that Julius Randle said, he came in saying that his goal was to be less of a shooter and more of a creator. Like his goal was to come in and like create more catch and shoot shots for Anthony Edwards. And I guess Chris Finch like doubled down. And he said, just for Julius Randle, like being in here, we're going to get 3 to 4 more 3-point attempts per game just by him being on the floor. Julius Randle had
Are they saying that they're going to like, are they saying that people would double Julius Randle and then he could kick the ball out to a guy on the perimeter.
I fear that's what they meant. So Julius Randle had 4 assists in 34 minutes.
Okay.
Anthony Edwards ended up playing 41 minutes at the first season game.
I cannot even. Like, that's ridiculous.
Mike Conley was a minus 22. And
yeah, sure was. Rudy Gobert himself was a minus 10.
It was insane.
But the second only. I don't know how you put this. There were only 3 people that had a positive plus minus, and Nickeil Alexander Walker was one of them. And his stats don't really show it, and I feel like maybe it was because like they just weren't giving him a lot of looks, or he wasn't like trying that hard. But he had 71% field goal percentage, and he was a plus 13 that whole game, 14 points and 5 rebounds. That's really all he did. But I mean, he played great in the Olympics. I feel like he had like a really good showing in the Olympics, and so I feel like that maybe helped him develop his game a little bit more, or like update his game a little bit. But he was very efficient and he looked really good on the floor. I feel like he was one of those guys that was playing really well off ball. But I'm sure Rudy Gobert doesn't like being under the basket like all by himself and having to do all of that by himself.
Because Gobert had like 14 rebounds.
14,
Yeah, Nickeil Alexander Walker, I feel like, is one of their more defensive players. So I think like 14 points for him for a game is like pretty damn good.
And even 5 rebounds. That's great. He was crashing the boards, and he's a skinny small dude. So
yeah, Randall had 9 rebounds and 16 points. The thing is you've lost your second best like scoring option with Cat. And so you're not going to win games with like Anthony Edwards only like getting 27, and then your second best player shooting like getting 16 points a game. And like Lakers again, like they literally just looked like ready to kill. Rui Hachimura was
they were insane,
throwing it down. Like he was I am here is what it felt like. I just they were talking about in the thing how they were talking about wanting him to be like more aggressive with the ball, and I was like, well, he listened. He said, sure will.
That's why I wanted you to go first, because I was having like the similar thought in my head. And I was like, we're probably like about to say the same thing. Because that's exactly what I was going to say, is like, I feel like Rui Hachimura is going to have like a more aggressive type season. Like he seems like, because he's always been someone that like when he plays, I'm like, why does he like not do more? Why does he not like try more? Like he's so good. But I feel like he just like doesn't do enough. And so I feel like he kind of sees that in himself this season and is a little bit more confident with that, because he looked fantastic. He was playing great. He was strong. He was aggressive. He was making good passes too. His dunks were fantastic when he got there. So I don't know, man. I like when Lakers team looked good.
I like when they say slammed it down with authority, and he did everything with authority.
Period.
And
exclamation point, I should say.
Yes, with an exclamation point. And everyone, I feel like, literally was helping out on the defensive end, which I just think was like a huge difference. Because so Anthony Davis obviously had 3 blocks and a steal, and then Rui Hachimura had 2 steals and a block. Austin Reeves had a steal and a block. LeBron James had 2 blocks. D'Lo was there, and Jackson Hayes
usually is.
Jackson Hayes had 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
D'Lo had 9 points in 34 minutes, and Jackson Hayes had 10 points in 15 minutes. Just gonna say that.
Spencer, D'Lo is a problem for other teams, he says.
Oh, who says?
I think he meant to say, I'm a problem for my own team. I think that's what he was trying to say.
Yeah, the only team you're a problem of is the Lakers. And unfortunately for them, you're on the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with that, because if he has that kind of season, he will be detrimental to, like, for you to be on the floor for 34 minutes and produce that little 9 points, 1 rebound, and 5 assists. I'm like, you're a point guard for some of the best players. You're the point guard and you're getting 5 assists when you have guys like Rui Hachimura and AD and LeBron James. Like, you could literally pass it to anyone and get yourself an assist, bestie. Set up some shit, okay? Facilitate. Do your job.
He did. I mean, what did he have? He had 9 assists?
Yeah.
5 assists. 5. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you should be getting like 12.
Yeah.
At
like
first,
on
I
a team
don't know.
like that, like at least like 7, 8, 9, like should be your average.
On the
with a
other
team
end,
like
him could be detrimental. But if Anthony Davis has a season like he had last night, he could be in a lot of talks for things.
He could be in depoy talks.
I think it'll be. I had that. I think this could be a career season for him, which I do think
For
it would.
sure.
It could. The last thing I wanted to talk about before we go, and of course, there's plenty of more basketball to watch tonight. Clippers Suns. I'm very excited to see how everything looks. Again, as I've said, and I still stand by this, everyone is still talking about the Suns. I still think they only have one real rim protector and they need like a stretch 4 or something going on because they don't have defense.
You and I said this at the beginning in like our predictions, is that the
Yes.
Suns will probably still be a fantastic regular season team. They do not have the bench or the defense to make it past the first round of the playoffs.
I think they are going to be a wonderful offensive team, which of course is going to beat a lot of teams. I think
And it'll
that they're
win them
going,
lots of games in the regular season.
I think they're going to have a lot of high scoring games like the Pacers did last year. I do not think they have the defense to close it out or even keep the other team from doing the same thing with them. Like, I just think that they don't have any good defensive pieces, but you do have a ton of offense.
Period.
So who knows? Who knows? Obviously, offense is important. But there's 2 new rules actually to the NBA. So
Let's hear it, princess.
No phones allowed for any player or coaching staff 45 minutes before tip-off, and they will not be returned until after post-game
media, right? Okay.
So I guess they said there will be one designated member for player or coach that handles their phone in case of emergency. Everyone was saying like maybe like Jonte Porter repercussions, like making sure no one's betting. To me,
Maybe that, or like all the people sitting post game with like their phones out watching other things during media.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Because there were several
rude.
guys that were doing it. Yeah, that would literally
Or
just
tweeting
like, sit there.
immediately after the game when they're in like the heat of the moment. They're like, that was not a foul.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
That
so
was kinda
that's
my
what.
thought.
That's not like a obviously basketball rule change. That's just a rule for the
No.
players and the coaches.
Yeah.
But there is a new rule that I think is a good rule. So
I love this. Let's hear it.
refs can now call fouls on replays for out of bounds calls like triggered by a coach's challenge.
Yeah.
So if a coach challenges a play
this.
and they're trying to see who it went off of, but there was a foul in the play before they could not call it, and now they can. So one of the examples they were using is during the Minnesota-Dallas game when it was 1-0, and I guess I think it was Luka and of course one of the Wolves players, and the ball went off, but the player was fouled. The ball was given back to the Mavs, and they
Who
ended
fouled
up,
a Wolf, right?
Yes. And then they ended up winning by a point. And so people were talking about like, oh, this series could have been 1-1 after that.
swayed
That
it.
could have been a different momentum. So I think that's an interesting new rule. It's not like something you have to explain long, but I just wanted to mention it.
I love
So-
that because I feel like it happens like in several games where like people will say that exact same thing. People will be like,
Yes.
there was a foul there that should have been. That foul should have been called.
I
and
hated
this
that
should
you
have been their ball.
you couldn't call it before. So
know.
I'm really excited. I'm so excited for tonight. Do you
too.
have any games that you're super excited about?
Well, the
Besides
Warriors are back.
Clippers on.
so
Yeah. Who are they playing?
they're playing the Blazers. It's not going to be super
Blazers.
exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to like see Steph Curry play again. You know that he's like my favorite player in the world. And I'm really excited. I've been really high on Buddy Hield, and I know people talk a lot of shit about him. But Steve Kerr came out today, and I talked to you about this a lot. And just says that like Buddy Hield like plays with joy and like brings kind of like that.
He
to
said
the
he was a
game and to
breath
the
of fresh
court.
air.
Yes, and I love that because if you know me, that's like my favorite style of like play. Like I think that we always joke around like make sports fun again. Like as competitive and serious as sports can be, they are also lovely and fun and exciting, and they make a lot of people happy who are playing, who aren't playing, who are watching, who are coaching. It's such a exciting, happy thing, sports are. And so I just like I love when players exude that. And so, you know, that's why I love players like Steph Curry, because like they are fun and exciting to watch, and they're happy and they can laugh at themselves and joke around. And I feel like if that's like how Buddy Hield is going to be too, I think that'll be really cool. So I'm excited to watch them. I'm so stoked to watch the Nuggets tomorrow too. I'm really excited for like this whole slate of games. Ja Morant is back. I'm excited to see how Ja Morant and Zach Edey play. Were you about to say that?
You and I are this. I literally was about to go. Ja Morant is back, baby.
Yep.
He sure is.
I'm excited. They play Utah. I'll be really excited to see Zach Edey and like Lauri Markkanen. Kind of like I think Zach tall
Edey,
guys.
I believe Zach Edey is was my prediction for Rookie of the Year.
He's like my
if
third
he wasn't
choice.
In the summer, he is now.
Yes. He's amazing, and I think he's like so. In the same way that like Wemby is so lucky to be now playing with like a super smart and amazing point guard like Chris Paul, I kind of feel that way about Zach Edey. I'm really excited to see Zach Edey get to play with like a really athletic, smart basketball IQ point guard like Ja Morant. I think that'll be really fun to see and to watch because you already see that connection between him and Jaren Jackson Jr. So
76ers and Bucks also played tonight.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, I mean, if like we just had to guess one player is out for the first week of the season, I think it's honestly one of two. It's one of two people that are on the 76ers, Paul George or Kawhi Leonard, or not Kawhi Leonard, but he is out. Sorry.
I was going to say him too.
Paul George or Joel Embiid. And Joel Embiid is out. And that's how we know that the NBA is officially back. Because
so is Paul George.
For the first week. So as exciting as the Bucks and 76ers probably would have been if everyone was playing, they're not. So as I always say, please stop comparing Joel Embiid to Nikola Jokic. Because Nikola Jokic would, never say he's not playing a back-to-back, because he's not lame. And he also would never sit out the first week unless he literally had to.
Unless he was dead.
Or if there was like a horse race in town. But anyway.
He might do that.
I also want to say, Caitlin and I we made really, really early predictions, and we have a video of that up in like July.
Yeah.
And we kind of rearranged a few things based on how the offseason went. But I just want to say now, if the Lakers keep playing like this, I maybe put them at 10. And Caitlin put them at 9, and don't crucify me. But the thing is,
I also put the Golden State Warriors at 3, so I'm having a fun time being delusional. Yeah, I'm having a fun time.
Actually, I'll put them up here at the end so you can make fun of us. People were mad because we both put the Rockets low. Okay, listen here.
Sorry.
The West to me is stacked. Like when I tell you that I think literally like first through 13, I literally think the first through 13 seed could all go to the second or third round.
Honestly, Wemby and Chris Paul could probably be number 1. Let's be honest.
That's what I'm saying. So like me having like the Rockets at 12, the Clippers at 13 or something like the Pelicans at 11. It's not, it isn't. Like, where else am I supposed to put them? Like, am I supposed to put the Spurs and Lakers who like have really good people below them? I wouldn't think so. So again, take everything with a grain of salt on the West. And then on the East, everyone is just so ass at like the bottom 8 through 15. So again, it's night and day. But yeah,
I would so love to hear your guys' predictions too, because mine really are silly, and I know that they are. Like, I laughed at them. Someone said these are the worst standings that I think I've ever seen, and I said, honestly, I'm kind of honored. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I encourage you all to do it just for fun, because it honestly is
so hard.
You think it's going to be fun, and then you're like, wow, that was way harder than I wanted it to be.
That was more stressful.
Yeah, so follow us on social media. We'll have everything linked below. Caitlin has one of our merch. She's over there. One of our merch shirts on. Caitlin and I will be together next weekend. So we probably might have one NBA episode and one NFL episode together, but we'll figure it out.
And we'll probably do a Patreon together as well. We need to get one out for you guys for all of our Patreon. Yeah,
so sorry.
It's been a hard life, okay? Life is exhausting.
We've been filming so much, and we both work full time, and we try to get everything out for you, so we're really sorry. But we love you guys, and we're so thankful for all the new friends. Again, we'll have all of our social media down below. We talk to everybody on there. That's how we started this. We have our little community on there. We'd love for you to join. And we are happy you're here, and we're so happy to be here. And Caitlin has to go because it's her daughter's birthday, and I have to go
She's
because
6.
I want to edit this so I can get it out for you all.
Dealio, man. Well,
right.
thanks for being here. If you're still here, we love you. We can't wait to talk basketball and more football with you guys. And we'll see you another day.
Yeah, if you want to watch NFL stuff, go catch up. If you want to watch some of our early off-season NBA things that were just silly little trade talks and all the fun stuff, maybe see if some of our predictions were right, then go ahead. But we will talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.